Daily Trust, Leadership and other newspapers cried out for help over unsettled debt in Zamfara State. President Muhammadu Buhari and Northern Governors mourned late Balarabe Musa. House of Representative members were divided at budget defense by humanitarian ministry. On business, NAMSA cautioned Nigerians not to accept meters without seal. And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari condoles with Mali and Palestine over passing of their statesmen. Welcome to Svtv News. I am Musa Joy Onyoza. A passionate appeal has been made to the Zamfara State government for the payment of outstanding debt owned some media organization by the immediate past administration in the state. The media organization are Daily Trust, Leadership and other newspapers. The appeal was made by Alhaji Abdul Fatai Abdul Salami, Special Project Manager Daily Trust, Sokoto, KB and Zamfara State, who is also the Managing Director of Fatsam Advertising Company in chat with the Manager of Standard Voice Television, Hajia Samira Ibrahim.
Welcome to Standard Voice Television, Gusau.
Thank you.
Can we know you, what you do and why you are here?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a golden opportunity. My name is Abdul Fatai Abdul Salam. Okay. I'm a advert consultant to Media Trust, publisher of Daily Trust, another tabloid. I have an advertising agency based in Sokoto. Under the cover of my agency, we did some job in Daily Trust, the previous administration. Efforts at that period to get payment proof abortive. And if I could recollect, the SA media that time, we tried all its possible best up to the last day when the administration were going, finally. But all effort proof abortive. That was why we're here.
Okay. Daily Trust says it has some liability being owed it by Zamfara State government. What is happening on the matter?
Well, we don't know exactly what is happening, but we have tried during the previous administration to ensure that this money is being paid. No way. We now tried all our possible best during the period of the current administration of Honorable Dr. Bello Mutawali Maradun. But all our efforts still are the same. So we have tried to see who we can to ensure that this money is being paid, but no way. So we don't decide as a media man, we just have to use what we have to appeal to somebody we know is our man, to please temper justice with mercy and see how this money can be paid to the different medias concerned. Our Media Trust is having the 3.9, that's 4 million. We're having 4 million. Blueprint is having 750,000. Leadership is having 450,000. Which again, the authority is having about 500,000. So this sum is just within the range of 6 million. Put together 6.5, 6.7, I think that is what we are going to have.
Okay. If I get you right, you are not representing only your...
No, I'm not, because we held a meeting within ourselves at the press center. Okay. And we decided that, well, we should just, as a media man, use what we have to get what we want.
How many media organizations are you?
4 of us are involved.
Okay.
We are 4 in number now. Daily Trust, Leadership, Blueprint, Authority. I think that's 4, if I'm not mistaken. The essence of our coming to meet our media friend is not maybe to fight the government, not at all. We are there for them. We have been there for long and will continue to be there. It's just an appeal. It's an appeal because if you know what each and every one of us are facing because of this sum, it has thrown each and every one of us off balance. because we that we are consulting for them. They are thinking along the line is that this money have been paid to us, and we did not remit the money to the management. So it's not giving us a good image. So we're only appealing to His Excellency. We know he has been doing well. He has started well. He should please. I believe the press, the media are part of his constituency. I've been seeing him doing a lot of assistance and a lot of things. Government, as I know, is just that of continuity. So, and this job was done for the same government, which he is now being the head. So we can't go back to the previous administration to ask them our son. We have to still continue with the current administration. So it's an appeal. We are just appealing to His Excellency to please, in the name of God, just see us through. It's not easy nowadays. Look at what we have been facing since the beginning of this year. We have the coronavirus. We have this SARS of the things and SARS and all of continuity. If we get this money, it will give us a good image back there at the management level. Not, their thinking is that maybe this money has been collected. But we need this money, at least for our family, for the management to get their own sum so that we can get our own. We are only appealing.
The Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN, has said a total of 17,602 teachers from across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory would participate in its professional qualifying examination slated for this Saturday. The Registrar Chief Executive Officer of TRCN, Professor Josiah Ajiboye, spoken at a press conference in Abuja, disclosed that out of the number, Osun State has the highest candidate with 1,727 teachers, followed by Adamawa with 1,623 candidates, just as Lagos State trade behind with 934 candidates. According to him, the FCT has 850 candidates expected to sit for the examination. For more on the story, over now to Samira Ibrahim.
In a similar circumstance, Ebonyi has the least number of registered teachers with 119 candidates after Bayelsa, which has 128 candidates. Professor Ajiboye, who said the examinations will not hold in Jigawa and Ekiti states for this particular digest, explained that they were unable to meet up with the 100 benchmarks for candidate registration per state. He explained that in the last examination, they had over 46,000 candidates that registered, but because of the pandemic, they couldn't register many teachers for this section. The registrar said they cannot stop the examination, that is why they still have to go ahead. Samira Ibrahim reporting for SVTV News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has joined the people of Kaduna State and the Northern Governors Forum to mourn former civilian governor of Old Kaduna State and an astute politician, Alhaji Balarabe Musa. The president, who said late Balarabe Musa was the voice of the voiceless, also noted that the disease reflected the passion and vigor that heralded Nigerians' independence, which steadily translated into activism for return to democracy, and that he left a bold footprint in Nigeria's democracy and need for good governance. Similarly, the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, said the forum is saddened by the death of the former governor, describing the death as a great loss to the deceased family and Nigeria. Earlier mourners include Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State, former Governor of Zamfara State Alhaji Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum on Wednesday approved the donation of 100 motorcycles for Army's remote operations in Borno State. He directed the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Barrister Kakashehu Lawan, to provide the motorcycles immediately, which soldiers use in chasing insurgents who use motorcycles to escape through remote corners in the bush and some tough terrains that vehicles do not easily access. The governor announced the intention at a brief ceremony in Maiduguri, which was attended by military commanding officers from Operation Lafiya Dole, leading the fight against Boko Haram. For more on the story, Hawa Muhammad report.
Governor Zulum at the occasion commissioned about 400 members of the Civilian Joint Task Force enlisted into the Nigerian Army's Super Camp strategy and the fight against insurgency in Borno, which are in the first batch of the recruitment, while subsequent batches of the exercise will continue soon. The Civilian Joint Task Force, a local group which emerged in 2013 to support the Nigerian security forces in the fight against Boko Haram and to protect local communities from attacks by the insurgents, was formalized by the Borno state government. The governor said through a collaboration with the military, members of the Civilian Joint Task Force were recruited, trained, kitted, deployed and paid monthly allowances to motivate them. The governor promised to continually support the Nigerian military and the volunteers among them, hunters, vigilantes and the Civilian Joint Task Force in sustaining their efforts to attain peace and security. The governor noted that his administration is planning the construction of more towns and villages, which he noted cannot be possible without adequate security. Governor Zulum renewed his call on Boko Haram insurgents who are hiding in Sambisa forests and bushes in the fringes of the Lake Chad to lay down their arms and surrender. Hawa Muhammad reporting for SVTV News.
Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi on Wednesday has sealed 5 private health facilities for alleged substandard practice and use of unqualified medical personnel. The affected health facilities include Odunayo Medical Center, Aye Ekiti City Medical Laboratory, Ado Ekiti Masterpiece, Diagnostic Care, Ado Ekiti, Abundant Grace Hospital, Ado Ekiti, and Good Heritage Hospital, Ado Ekiti. The State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Ebanji Filani, sealed the hospitals during an unscheduled visit to health facilities in some parts of the state. For more on the story, over now to our correspondent, Shehu Magaji.
He expressed regret over the continued existence of such facilities in the state, despite regular monitoring and the persistent warnings. Represented by the Director of Hospital Services and Training in the Ministry, Dr. Olusanya Adetoye, the Commissioner particularly frowned at the way affected facilities were operating with incompetent staff in busy environments. He described the situation as inimical to the health of the people. The Commissioner said the government had met with the proprietors of private health facilities in the state and warned them against the use of trainee nurses or auxiliary doctors in their operations at the risk of members of the public. He cautioned that the government will not hesitate to arrest and prosecute any auxiliary doctor and the trainee nurses found to be working under the guise of being qualified professionals whose activities pose danger to the life of the people. Shehu Magaji reporting for SBTV.
The Nigerian police has withdrawn police services from Ikere Ekiti, the headquarters of Ikere Council area of Ekiti State, following the attacks on the 3 police stations in the town. The town suffered the most grievous attacks and destruction during the last nationwide NSAS protest, with properties worth millions of naira either burnt or damaged. The area commander and the 2 divisional police stations in the area were also attacked during the protests, with vehicles and other vital items either burnt or vandalized. For more on the story, Peter Phillips report.
Ikire Ekiti is the second biggest town after Edo Ekiti, the state capital. All the commercial banks such as First Bank, Wema Bank, Access Bank and others have been closed down due to the withdrawal of police services from the town. Periscope Nigeria visited the second largest community in the state and observed financial institutions as well as points of terminal outlet were under lock and key due to fear of being attacked over alleged absence of policemen. Findings by a correspondent indicate that there had been no police officer in the town following the burning of 2 police stations and destruction of area command by hoodlums during the NSAS protest. Reacting to alleged withdrawal of policemen, banks in the town did not open for operations on Tuesday, forcing many customers who wanted to transact business to go to Ado Ekiti, the state capital. Customers expressed disappointment over the development, saying it had affected their businesses negatively. That has been the report. Peter Phillips, SVTV News, Gusau.
Tempers flared during the inquest into the humanitarian ministry's handling of the COVID-19 palliative among members of the House of Representatives Committee on Internally Displaced Persons during the 2021 Budget Defense session of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. Some lawmakers were worried about the extra budgetary spending of the ministry and incomplete budget documents submitted by the Minister Sadia Omar Farouk. Hajia Sadia Omar Farouk explained in part that engaging with the document will mean that the ministry will be taking just a fraction of its responsibility. Subsequently, voices were raised as the defense was ongoing, and one of the lawmakers, Fatuhu Mohammed, accused members of the committee of harassing the minister, after which he stormed out of the meeting. According to him, rather than focusing on the main issues, they were accusing the minister of not sharing food items and palliatives which were stored up in warehouses, resulting in the series of lootings that took place across the country. Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi told the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Abuja that he is leaving the party, under which he served as governor for 2 terms for the APC, quoting zoning of the next presidential flag bearer to the southeast as his reason. It was gathered that Umahi told the members of the National Working Committee of the PDP, led by the national chairman Uche Secondus, that his decision to join the APC was irrevocable. The governor was said to be friendly when he received the PDP delegation, but stuck to his decision to leave the PDP when the issue came up. Sources at the meeting, however, insisted that the APC was planning to zone the 2023 presidency to the southeast, promising to stay in the PDP if the party would make a pronouncement that it would zone the presidency to the same zone. When contacted, Secondus confirmed that the party's leadership met with Umahi but refused to declare the details of the meeting, insisting that the meeting was on national issues. Still to come your way is the business and the international news, but before then, a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On business, Samira Ibrahim has more detail.
Welcome to Standard Voice Business Desk. I am Samira Ibrahim. The Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency advised Nigerians not to accept any meter without the agency's seal or label. The Managing Director of NEMSA, Mr. Peter Eweso, gave the advice at the official presentation of 2015 certificate to the agency by Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, in Abuja. Mr. Eweso said that with the ISO certificate that had been received by NEMSA, any meter deployed for installation henceforth must have the agency's label or seal. He cautioned that any meter that had no NEMSA label and seal should be rejected by customers because such meter is fake, cannot be trusted, and the quality of such meter cannot be guaranteed. He assured that only the quality meters are brought into the country, and NEMSA will also ensure safety in the use of electricity. Mr. Eweso thanked Standard Organization of Nigeria and other stakeholders, as well as the staff members, for their support in actualizing the feats. In his remarks, the Standard Organization of Nigeria Director General Malam Faruk Salim said with the presentation of ISO to NEMSA, the agency had joined a privileged class of quality management system, certified and upgraded organizations in the country. Represented by Director, Management System Certification Services, Mr. Felix Yadu, Salim said the certificate provided the agency with a robust, globally recognized and acceptable solution. He said this will help in addressing challenges associated with managing quality and delivering customer experience. And that's all on the Standard Voice Business Desk. I am Samira Ibrahim.
And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari sends heartfelt condolences to government and people of the Republic of Mali over the passing of former President Amadou Tsunami. The president commiserates with family of the departed Malian leader whose 10-year reign in the country contributed to the strengthening of political institutions and measure of stability, starting with his presiding over a peaceful transition in the country as a military leader. President Buhari joins world leaders, particularly those from ECOWAS, in mourning the former president, whose wisdom and foresight also impacted greatly on the West Coast, as he always advocated dialogue over conflict and believed strongly in the African voice. Similarly, the president also expressed heartfelt condolences to the family, friends and entire people of Palestine over the demise of the towering statesman and peace negotiator Saeb Erekat, the veteran Palestinian peace negotiator and one of the most high-profile figures in its leadership since in the early 1990s. Erekat, a former Secretary General of the Palestine Liberation Organization, was also a lawmaker from Jericho in the occupied West Bank and senior advisor to the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and his predecessor in office Yasser Arafat. The president noted in a tribute that Erekat was one of the radical Palestinian leaders whose wise counsel led to the recognition of the legitimacy of the State of Israel as pathway to a two-state solution by which an independent Palestine would be created to exist side by side with Israel. President Buhari regretted that Saeb Erekat did not live long enough to witness an independent Palestine, a realistic aspiration which he said is realizable when there is full international support and cooperation. The president prays for the repose of the souls of the statesmen. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Daily Trust, Leadership and other newspapers cried out for help over unsettled debt in Zamfara State. President Muhammadu Buhari and Northern Governors mourn late Balarabe Musa. House of Representative members were divided at budget defense by Humanitarian Ministry. On business, NAMSA cautioned Nigerians not to accept meters without seal. And on the international scene, President Muhammadu Buhari condoles with Mali and Palestine over passing of their statesmen. That's the news on behalf of the production crew and head of News and Current Affairs Department, Alhaji Ibrahim Garba Tunau. I still remain Musa Joy Onyoda. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.